back on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're on season 2, episode 3, The Changeling, and I'm joined by Earl Grey Trekkie. Hello, Robbie. How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Very good. Oh, it sounds so good. Your mic makes you sound so clear. I think Jill's gonna be very happy. She likes the good sound. Oh crap! I did something weird with my headphones. I'm like tethered but there's not a lot of room, so I can't move around. This always happens on Starfleet Boy. Hello, Cake is Eternal. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Happy almost First Contact Day. That's right. First Contact Day is Monday. And tomorrow I'll be on set Trek Central. We'll be talking about First Contact Day. And Star Trek's doing like a whole bunch of cool stuff for First Contact Day, but we'll save that conversation for Trek Central. So you guys will have to tune in there. So let's see here. Captain RGD already says, "Wish Uhura had some side effects of loss of memory." I have a lot of questions about that part, so we'll probably come back to that later after the summary. But yeah, it's a little interesting. I also forgot that Scotty died. Like that was like you told he's dead, and then he's resurrected. So Scotty's like a zombie, which is weird. Maybe not a zombie, but well, I guess resurrections are apropos for this weekend. Okay, sorry, that was a bad joke. All right, this is the precursor episode to Star Trek: The Motion Picture Voyager. I agree. Not precursor, I would just say the inspiration for the motion picture. As far as I could tell in my research, there are no canonical or story or any other connections between Tanru, which is the name of the alien probe, and V'ger, and just, but it could be. I mean, we don't know a lot about V'ger and V'ger's origins, so they could be the same people that created Tanru could have created V'ger. So it's and it's a very similar story and plot from or vehicle, I would say, not the whole story, but Nomad's a crazy robot, as Commander Tall, Subcommander Tall said on Twitter.
I'm pretty sure that William Shatner stole the idea for Star Trek V from Gene Roddenberry. It was going to be the motion picture until he changed it.
Oh wait, what's that? The Final Frontier was going to be the title?
Well, no, not the title, but the story outline, Meeting God, that was going to be
that was going to be the motion picture. Oh, interesting.
And Gene Roddenberry had told William Shatner all about it, and then when William Shatner was to make a film, he just basically copied the idea.
I didn't know this. I'll have to do some research into that too. But yeah, that's funny. I wouldn't put it past I wouldn't put it past William Shatner. I'm just kidding, Mr. Shatner. Let's see. I've got the power. Yeah. That's a good song. I sang it poorly. Robbie, we got a couple of viewers. I have to do the tweet, so would you mind starting the episode summary while I prepare the tweet and send it out? Awesome, I appreciate you.
So the Enterprise crew come across this kind of green light on the view screen, and they wonder what's going on because the Enterprise is kind of rocked about, and they find out that it's a ship. It's a very small ship that the Enterprise crew, just about a meter in diameter, and this life form aboard identifies himself as Nomad, and Kirk decides to beam aboard Nomad to the Enterprise to avoid Nomad destroying them, because Nomad was attacking them while aboard his own ship, or its own ship. And so Kirk orders Nomad to be beamed aboard, and Nomad is beamed aboard, and Nomad believes that Kirk is its creator, and is a bit confused. So Kirk uses that to control Nomad and to make sure that Nomad does his bidding. It doesn't do anything wrong. However, Nomad's programming makes it so that he sees any biological life form as inferior and as a kind of vermin, and he or it. Sorry, I keep saying he. Nomad tries to kill or destroy, eliminate all human life, all
And
biological life.
they found out through a mind meld that actually that programming comes from a very innocent thing. Tanru, the probe that was called Tanru, was meant to collect soil samples and it would sterilize them to prevent biologicals, I guess, from infecting whoever created Tanru. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go on. You're doing an amazing job. You're killing it with these summaries.
I'd just say that this episode is another great example of the crew using their intelligence against what they're put up with. So many TOS episodes are like that. There's some kind of alien life form, and they have to just use their sheer intelligence and their camaraderie and make the episode end with a happy note, and it's quite heartwarming, I would say.
Very cool. And Spock actually, I like the scene at the end where Kirk's like, I bet you didn't think I could pull off that feat of logic. And Spock's like, no, sir, I did not. It's just like, that was funny, a funny line.
Spock also says the line, a dazzling display of logic.
Right. It's so true. He was very impressed, but he did not expect Kirk to do that. We got some more folks in the audience. Yay. Let's see here. That's the name I can't say. The robot is sexist. Yeah, it said some pretty sexist things about females, some outdated ideas. I'm surprised that such an advanced robot would do that. It's true. It also said that Spock was the most organized of the units of Kirk's carbon units, so that was really funny. Is this one of the rare episodes we see Uhura sing in the original series? I think so. I don't remember if she sang in this episode though. Why don't I remember that? She did. She was singing, and that's what caused yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. You said that, didn't you? No, you didn't say it in the summary, did you?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what causes Nomad to get curious and come investigate on the bridge. By the way, I love all those shots that were following, like the perspective shots, like following Nomad. Like I thought it was really, really cool. The whole robot was great for the time. And I wonder, since it is a little tiny starship, does Eaglemoss make a model of Nomad? I gotta check this now. Now I've got to find out. The Random Menace says, hello, gentlemen. Good to see you both. I rebranded, but if I say he is dead, get over it. Starfleet Boy should know who is driving him crazy.
I think that's Joseph.
Oh, cool. Yes. Hello, Joseph. I like your rebranding. I like your drawing. Is that like a dinosaur? What is going on here? There's a lot going on. I'll have to unpack this. Nice to see you, Joseph. I've been missing you. I'm missing you at all. Where's the creator at? Yes, where is the creator indeed? I like that the creator's name was Roy Kirk. That's a Scottish name, right? And Kirk is too, isn't it?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. Robbie would be considered probably Scottish, but you get a lot of English Robbies. It's just that's a common name. Just a kind of, yeah. Roy does sound a bit Scottish.
Like Rob Roy McGregor.
Yeah, and Kirk would probably be a Scottish second name, maybe. I'm not too sure.
Is there a place in Scotland called Falkirk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so they may be a Kirk might be a type of place. Who knows? We'll have to we'll have to look it up. Maybe someone in the audience knows. Usually someone in the audience does know. Hi Blue, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us on our stream. If you want me in the stream, I can be on to. Oh, cool. I'll send you a link in just a second here, Chris. These TOS AI episodes are what inspired the Discovery writers to create Control. Oh, interesting. And then the song that Uhura sings is called Beyond Antares. What did you think of the episode overall, Robbie? Share your feelings on it.
So when I was watching at the start, I thought it was just okay. It wasn't great or anything, and I was a wee bit bored of it. I didn't think it was the worst episode ever, but I felt it was quite generic, and I'd seen it quite a few times, that kind of style of plot. But towards the end, it picked up a bit, and I was more fond of it, and I appreciated it more. I think it can't really get much better because it's just it's kind of an AI plot, and TOS likes to do likes to have some kind of enemy. However, it was enjoyable, and I was quite impressed with how they did the strings, because I wonder if they had a string on Nomad to keep him obviously in the
Yeah,
air, and I never noticed that. I kept looking to try and see if I could find any strings, but I couldn't see any.
I think they employed another technique, which was like what I noticed is like there were a few shots where you do see Nomad fully, I guess, and there must have been strings or something. And you can hide like you use fish wire, and it's very easy to hide fish wire. But a lot of times they would either not show the bottom of Nomad or not show the full top of
Yeah,
Nomad. So it might have been on some kind of rig where it was being suspended or held up, and it was just off camera. So, we got Chris here. So let me put him on the stream. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
It's going good.
Nice
Can
to
you
see
hear
you.
me?
Happy Saturday. Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. It looks like you're home with your cool Star Trek stuff in the background and your cool Star Trek shirt. Very nice. That's the Nemesis Star Trek.
No, it's Star Trek: The Experience
Oh, the Experience.
shirt.
Okay.
I never actually went, but I got this through the Star Trek shop years ago.
Oh, very nice, very nice, very nice. By the way, so welcome. You've heard most of the discussion, so you're pretty caught up. We don't have to catch you up, right? You were listening in the
Right.
audience. Very cool. So it's so nice to have you. How have you been in general? Good.
Good, yeah. I
Excellent.
agree with
Is
Robbie, though. This is a generic episode.
Oh, you think
I
it's generic?
I did enjoy it more as the episode progressed. It's not. I'd say it's probably maybe a 7 out of 10. Sorry to spoil my rating.
Oh, that's okay. You're
Um,
totally welcome to do that. I don't think it's generic at all. I think it would have been pretty wild for the time to see
yeah,
like an AI, and I still think it holds up. Like we don't have anything like this. Although, yeah, I mean, like it is the monster of the week. At the end of the day, like Nomad's not very complex, and not they correct for that definitely when they reuse this idea in Star Trek: The Motion Picture. But yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a charm to it that I like it a lot.
I
But
do like it. It's just because, well, TOS is so strong as a whole that I can't really rate it too much harder. Otherwise, all of the episodes would be so high, or most of the episodes. So I have to really
balance it
decide.
out.
Yeah.
You got to kill your darlings a little bit here. Kirk is Scottish for church. I did not know that. Very cool. So Captain Church, if you translate it to English. I'm glad he's Captain Kirk. Although Captain Church is a pretty cool name. Then you have Robbie the robot in Lost in Space. That's right. I forgot. Robbie, you're famous. You have a famous robot named after you. Or rather, you might be named after it.
Yeah.
Robbie is a cool name. Let's go with that. And yes, it's me, Yosef. Very nice. V'ger must join with the Nomad. Prepare for robots as Kirk detector and Spock cover their eyes. That's funny. It's emerging. It's not. I don't know if it's reproductive. It's more like emerging. It's like two beings. Well, I guess that is kind of what that is. Did Stamets mention Sulu in Brother, a friend who's a botanist? Oh. I wonder. That's a good question. My creator is imperfect, so I must destroy everyone now. Exterminate. Wait, I mean sterilize. That's true. Oh yeah, and it has like a thing, like a proboscis, like the Daleks. Like it's kind of like a Star Trek Dalek. What do you think of that?
I think it's very different from the Daleks.
it's kind of the same idea though, right? Like
It's the same idea, yeah, but I think the execution is wildly different.
yeah. Can you imagine if Nomad had like recreated it, like had replicated itself, and that was like a thing in Star Trek, like where you had to like fight these Nomad robots? Like that might be interesting.
That would be cool if there was a crossover.
Did you guys know that the Nomad Probe, before it became Nomad Tonru, was supposed to be there was supposed to be like a mention of it or something in Enterprise. There's something was supposed to happen. No, Tonru. I think they were. I don't remember. I read. I should have written this note down, but there was like going to be some kind of tie-in in Enterprise, and I think that would have been really cool. There was a tie-in though in season. Do you know what it is? Season 1, the episode Civilization.
No, I can't remember.
No,
Do you
I
know,
don't
Chris?
remember either.
So the civilization, the 4 billion, what are they called? The civilization that Nomad destroys in the beginning of this episode. Here, I'll have to. Sorry, I have to pull up Memory Alpha. I should have done this. Hold on.
Memory Alpha is a lifesaver.
It is. So is Larry Nemechek's book for TNG at least. Memory Alpha, the Changeling.
Now, do you remember that the Nomad robot? I think parts of it get used as the cloaking device in the Enterprise incident.
Yeah, this prop will be used again. You're absolutely right. It is used again, and it's used in the episode with what's his name, Sargon. What's that episode called? Do you remember?
No, my Enterprise season 1 and 2 memory is so bad because I've not watched it in quite a while. I'm just rewatching it now. I just have to watch through all the shows again and again just to remember them. It's just so much.
The Malurians. So when you get back, when you rewatch the episode Civilization on Enterprise, you'll get to meet the Malurians, and the Malurians are who Nomad exterminates in the beginning of the episode. So it's kind of sad that like 100 years later that the Malurians, which are technically introduced in Enterprise, will be destroyed. And they're like lizardy people that they wear like they have like humanoid faces or whatever, but there's a lizard underneath, which I think is a homage to V as well, which was a movie it's just like an old trope, like lizard people living underneath human masks. That happens often in sci-fi. I feel. But yeah, so the Malurian. So I like that Enterprise did do that connection to this episode.
I never even knew until now that Enterprise even made that connection.
I didn't know until I did the research for this episode. I actually had time to do research for this episode, so I was really pleased to see that. Because I saw that episode, but I didn't remember that that's who they were.
I really love how many tie-ins Enterprise has.
Oh yes, there's one more. I just remembered. Thank you. Mayweather has a model of the Nomad Probe in his quarters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. If I was Mayweather, I would definitely have that.
Not the Nomad Tonru, the original. Do you remember how like there was a schematic that the original probe looked more like a rocket, like it had like extremities and all this stuff, and the Nomad, what we see is when it merged with Tonru. So yeah, here I'll try to pull up the image of the original probe.
I find it really interesting that Spock can mind meld with a machine.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it was really
It's
cool.
not the first time and last time we see Spock do that. We see him do that in the motion picture too.
Oh, right. And
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Kirk there's 4 times where Kirk outsmarts a computer, and this is one of them. What did you think of like the solution of Kirk outsmarting Nomad?
It feels like one of those classic ones now because it's been done quite a lot throughout sci-fi. That said, it was efficient and Kirk was smart on his feet. Yeah, Kirk Kirk might not be my favorite captain, but he's definitely such a smart, charismatic, wonderful character.
Indeed, he is.
Yeah, he's really a great fit to the rest of the TOS crew.
I did
So
not remember this drawing.
Yeah, so they show this is probably a screen cap of the screen. Spock in the beginning is showing information about the Nomad probe, and he's like, "Oh, this is what it looked like when it was launched by Roy Kirk in the 2000s, by the way, sometime in the 2000s." So technically, we already launched this probe. Like humanity has launched Nomad, and it's going to come back to haunt us later on. But Kirk will save the day. And then I have a picture here of it on Travis's in his quarters. It's like it looks like a CG shot. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Do you remember what episode that shows up for Travis having it?
I bet I could look it up. I don't know, but I bet you can look it up.
Because we don't really see too much of Travis.
Not Travis.
Enterprise.
Sorry, I meant.
Wow.
Yeah, Travis. Sorry, Mayweather. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a shame how much Travis is kind of sidelined, because he had a lot of potential with his cargo vessel routes. I found that really interesting, and then not much was done with him. Anyway, I should stop talking about Enterprise already.
Well, I also agree with that, because they developed Travis Mayweather so well on pilot episode 1 and
Yeah.
first 2 seasons, and then all of a sudden ditched him basically in 3rd season.
Exterminate. Wait, I mean, Sterilize says Shakespeare is called cliche by people who don't realize all the cliches came from Shakespeare. The Changeling seems cliche because everything came from the Changeling. Sigh. Wow, nice stand for the Changeling, Jill. Yeah, everything
That's
did come from the Changeling. Hello, Mohammed. Nice to see you on the stream. Nomad Borg, possibly like V'ger, might have been a connection. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see these, like, because when Spock goes into V'ger's chamber where he has all these like kind of memories or whatever, he describes a planet where the life forms are all mechanical or machines, right? And so I wonder if there's like a unyet discovered distant planet somewhere, maybe it's beyond the galaxy even, that is responsible inadvertently perhaps of creating V'ger and maybe even the Borg. There's a lot of cool theories out there. There's a good novel called Vendetta, which had like an interesting explanation for the Borg as well. You guys were we were talking a little bit. There were 2 things I wanted to talk about. One was Scotty's. Well, okay, so Nomad's like extremely advanced, and Nomad is able to bring Scotty back to life, and it's like nothing to Nomad. Nomad's just like, oh, this is very simple.
Yeah.
And it's also able to erase Uhura's memories, which apparently it doesn't really erase them. It's able to like do something to like block her memories, apparently, because she does get all her memories back in the next episode. So like it's not like she forgot everything about her life. Oh, Treklad's here. Nice to see you, Treklad. Shout out to you. Looking forward to streaming with you tomorrow on Trek Central. And also looking forward to seeing you build the Enterprise D. I'm so envious. For those of you who don't know, head over to Treklad's channel. He put out a challenge and he lost, which makes me so happy because I have a challenge that I put out to Treklad and he gave me an insane goal and we haven't reached it yet. So I was glad to see you suffer a little bit, Treklad. But go check it out because he's going to build the gigantic Enterprise D that Eagle Moss sells, that you get a subscription and they send you parts and you build it. So I'm excited to see that happen. Oh, he's broke. We'll have to raise some money. We'll do a GoFundMe to help you, Treklad. Oh my gosh, you'll make it all back. We have to get lots and lots of subscribers to Treklad so that he can get some revenue from his videos, some more revenue. Great question for a question of Trek. Oh, cool. I'm glad all those little trivia things inspired you. Cake is eternal. That's very cool. I'm thinking along those lines. Oh, there's more along the lines of V'ger and stuff. Let's see. The search for perfection is a thing with the Borg later. It's true. Mrs. Borg. What's her name? Queen. The Queen Borg. The Borg Queen. Let's see here. Since the Kelvin movies use a lot of classical music, Khan should have started playing Hit Me Baby One More Time in Into Darkness because he's
That would be a good song for Arena.
Yeah, it might be. It's true. Yeah, it's since in Star Trek Picard, Jill's right. Like Changeling kind of is like the source material for a lot of these themes, if in Star Trek at least. So that's really cool.
Now, which episode do you guys like better, this one or the Ultimate Computer that comes later on?
I think
I'm having trouble
the Ultimate
remembering.
Computer.
Yeah, I might prefer the Ultimate Computer too, but I'm having trouble remembering it right now because I haven't seen it in a long time, so I have to rewatch it.
Because that one's coming out later on. I definitely like this one better than Landrew that was in last season.
Another computer that Kirk outsmarts. Kirk is great. If you have like, I feel like William Shatner. If AI is born in our times, I think we should send William Shatner in first and have him presume the role of Kirk and outsmart all these potential AIs.
I think William Shatner would be very worried, and he wouldn't know what to do.
Now we saw another smart thing in was it Voyager, and they had the warhead where the doctor basically got to be into the warhead computer. I thought that was kind of an interesting.
What season of Voyager is that, Chris?
It kind of goes with the same idea. I
think
it's like
Voyager
season 5. It's like it's like the penultimate episode of season 5. Where Harry
cool.
Kim's
I haven't gotten
in charge of the away team. It's a good episode.
Gotcha. All right, I haven't gotten to that episode yet, so I look forward to getting to it now. So there's an explanation for Uhura. I think, did we already talk about Uhura? Yes, we did. There's an explanation for her getting her memory back that I read that was interesting, which is Nomad was probably able to like force her memories into like a section of her brain, just much like how you can on a computer hard drive, if you lose the file allocation tree that tells like the computer where all the files are, then you don't actually lose all the data. The data is still there. You just lose how to like retrieve it. And so you can actually like rebuild the file allocation tree. And so that's what Uhura's mind did over time. Also, Nichelle Nichols, that's what I wanted to talk about. Nichelle Nichols insisted that Uhura would default to her first language, which was Swahili. And so they actually had to get a linguist to come in for the few lines and so she delivers actual Swahili lines in the episode, which I thought was pretty cool.
I love that Nichelle Nichols demanded that.
Yeah, that was cool. She was like, she didn't demand it necessarily, I'm sure, but she
I like to think she demanded that then.
I like that too. Let's see what else about this episode. I guess those are all the little fun facts that I was able to dig up. Chris, what is your overall impression of this episode? What did it do really well? What didn't it do really well, in your opinion?
Well, I think what this episode does do is it shows the good interaction with the crew working in the episode, because you really don't see that too often with like Uhura and Scotty and all them working on the bridge crew to defeat the alien. So I think that aspect is good, because they usually tend to go to focus on Kirk or Spock. This one at least gave other crew members a chance to work with it.
Yeah, those bridge scenes were great, weren't they? Like all the procedural stuff that they were doing during the battle and everything like that. I want to know how Nomad was able to I want to know why Kirk was surprised that Nomad was able to absorb the energy from one photon torpedo when the Enterprise only lost 20% of its shields by absorbing the equivalent of 900 photon torpedoes. So I didn't get like why he was impressed, because the Enterprise has that technology and Nomad was obviously superior. So it was weird. It was almost that was the only thing that I didn't like about that scene.
Isn't there
Yeah, I don't
something?
understand that either.
I don't get that either. But what doesn't Chief O'Brien explain in Trials and Tribulations something weird about the shield cycle, and that there's a certain spot where they could transport through the shields of the Enterprise?
Yeah,
Because
but this was more
how
like,
there goes
because
through a
like
cycle or something.
so Nomad's able to eradicate like the population of this little tiny like vessel is able to eradicate has enough like weaponry or power to eradicate 4 billion souls on a planet, right? And then it launches like what they say I think is like the equivalent of like 900 photon torpedoes, the energy output of 900 photon torpedoes at the Enterprise. She only loses 20% of her shields from that first attack, right? So it doesn't like, it's a significant hit, but it doesn't like, like it does it 900 photon torpedoes energy I would think would like render the shields like totally useless. But then they launch one photon torpedo at Nomad and it absorbs it, and Kirk's like, what? Like everyone's like, oh my gosh. So I think that was just like a little mistake in the writing. Maybe I read that scene wrong, but I just thought that was like a little weird.
With TOS, a lot of the time, even though it's usually 50-minute long episodes, I feel like I want to find out more about a lot of the stories, just even a bit more of Nomad's backstory, how he ended up coming across the Enterprise, more so than all of the other Star Trek shows. I think it really taps into my curiosity.
Yeah, me too. It's a shame that like we didn't get more. I imagined cuz like at the end Nomad starts freaking out and they beam it out into space and there's that explosion. But in my head canon, I imagine they could have done something like in TNG or in maybe in one of the other shows, like maybe even Voyager, where they find like the wreckage of Nomad or like parts or like the brain of Nomad maybe survived or
that would have
whatever,
been...
and like Data puts it back together and stuff like that. So it might have been really, really, really cool if they did that.
That would have been an amazing idea for a future episode, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. I would have liked to see Nomad come back in some way. It would have been neat. Even in Discovery, they could have encountered it and maybe ignored it, like thinking it was like nothing. Maybe it was in a dormant state. I don't know, something like that. But maybe we'll get something in
Lower Decks. That would be great. Just a bit like the exocomps, a similar kind of style to that. How the exocomps were used. That would be quite funny.
Oh yeah, it would have been really cool.
Because even the exocomp was left out in space at the end.
Oops, sorry about that. Sometimes I forget to mute my telephone during live streams. I apologize about that. So unprofessional. Speaking
Sabotage.
Sabotage. Yeah, I sabotaged myself. Speaking of Lower Decks, there is Nomad in the first episode hidden away in the supply closet, I think, or something. There's
yeah, it's just
maybe
a
it's
very
not the
tiny
first episode,
glimpse at him.
Yeah, you get to see.
Yeah, I think
it's all the contraband. Yeah,
which was really funny. I thought, although it had to have been. It couldn't have been Nomad, but it's like that style of probe. And Michael Okuda, I believe, in one of his Okudograms of the Enterprise D, in the probe launch bay, the probe is represented by a Nomad style looking probe, which is really cool. So Nomad has appeared in other places. I don't know why I love Nomad. I just feel like I'm glad that there's so much of Nomad in Star Trek. And that voice, it's such a like an innocent voice. Like he seems like a child, right? Like Kirk creator.
Yeah.
Like it's like
He's got a kind of I don't know, immaturity or kind of a shoutiness to. I keep saying him, it.
Yeah, we don't know how Nomad
Yeah.
identifies, but
Yeah,
you can just say Nomad.
Nomad.
It's cumbersome, but you can just say Nomad did this or Nomad did that if you want to play it safe. But I don't mind you calling Nomad he also, just FYI. It's fine.
Nomad kind of reminds me of a Lost in Space robot, though, just the way it's kind of written and the look of Nomad. I don't know if you guys got that vibe too. I mean, both shows were going on at the same time, so.
I've only seen the reboot. Actually, I need to see. That's awful. I've only watched the reboot. I have seen images of Lost in Space, and I can see why it would be similar.
Yeah, I think robots, like just the style of robots. Although this style of robot / probe is pretty cool, like timeless. I think he holds up. Like you could put Nomad in a show today and it would still look cool, I think.
Yeah, just like with the TOS Enterprise, I don't think it's, that was obviously changed for Discovery, but the basics of it, the basic outline of the ship is the same. It's just kind of redecorated a bit with different materials, and most of the Star Trek designs, I would say, are pretty timeless.
I love the lights and stuff. There's a few illustrations I've seen online too that are really cool of Nomad, and I remember having the trading cards and it was really cool as well. We have Control could have me Anataka Wewe is the only Swahili full sentence I know. It means I want your body. That's interesting. I don't think that's what Uhura said, but that's very cool. Let's see here. Let's see what other comments we've got going on. Let's see. I want to know if Rook type androids from what are little girls made of are members of the Synthetic Federation Alliance for Picard. They probably are not. Oh, maybe they're old. Yeah, that's right. Wait, he's like from an old civilization. That's a good call out. It could be. It's very, very possible. Nomad
Another robot that Kirk took out. Or robot.
It's true. Well, he phasers himself, right? Rook, no, or she phasers him. I forget how it happened, but yeah. Let's see. It already showed up in Lower Decks in the background. We already talked about that. Sabotage wouldn't be a Starfleet Boy stream without it. This is true. Cake is eternal. And let's see here. Captain Freeman on Lower Decks will have to put a sign on Nomad that says "Do not sterilize." Yes, that would be really funny. I agree indeed. What else did you guys like or dislike about this episode?
Let me see. Just at the beginning, on you go, sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say I quite like the beginning of the episode. It feels quite tense. Kind of a bit like the Wrath of Khan in that way, with the ship being damaged and they're all flailing around. I just really like that style that TOS sometimes does. And I wish sometimes it's something your shows would just have a bit of panic in that kind of style. Have crew members flailing around like that, even if it's a bit dated looking. I love it.
So you prefer that to like, because we don't really see that. You're right. Do we? I guess we do see sometimes, but it's more like in this case they like really tilt the camera like hard. Like I feel like people like fly like literally fly across the ship, and I don't remember seeing that too often in later shows and in the current shows. Yeah.
For Strange New Worlds, I hope they just make it ridiculous. People flying around.
You want Captain Pike to fly out of his chair and like hit the view screen.
Yeah,
you know,
I want that.
Like that. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I would like to see some of the more
stunt work.
dramatic stuff. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the stunt work in this episode. I kind of wish that Scotty had come up with some more creative ways to take out Nomad.
Well, what they end up doing,
it didn't really seem like he had too many great ideas.
I mean, he just came back to life. I give him a pass on this one. Like, he's probably a little baffled. McCoy was really good. We didn't talk about McCoy. I thought McCoy was really good in this episode, and how he wasn't really afraid of Nomad and stuff like that. He was like yelling at him and stuff. I think that it's interesting that the way that they like, I guess they like, you know, the logic thing is how they outsmarted it and caused it to short circuit. But it kind of makes it interesting because it maybe says that Nomad wasn't like, I mean, I guess since he's damaged, maybe he wasn't like a full AI, because like I don't think you could do that to Data. You know what I mean? Like Data's like sentient and sapient, and I don't think like you could do a logic bomb like that on Data and trick him into short circuiting. So there's something because of the flaws that Nomad already had from being damaged, from being, you know, from hitting an asteroid or whatever, and then after merging, he was always a little bit, Nomad was always a little bit like wonky, I think, and so that's true. He was able to get the ship's engines more efficient, so much so that they were more powerful than the ship's structure could handle, and I thought that was interesting. And he could repair things without actually touching them or moving them. He was just able to interface with the computer. That was something else that I thought was like ahead of its time and like very interesting sci-fi concept. The other thing is he was able to like, there's that line about how like Nomad was basically was trying to draw information out of the computer so quickly that the computer short circuited because Nomad was so powerful. So it's interesting because it's the first time we don't get like a it was cool because it's not like a ethereal type of alien, right? Like Tanru, the probe that merged with Nomad, was, you know, like it's technological and it's very interesting, and I really like all that stuff about it.
I think it's nice that the intention wasn't malicious. You know, it was just trying to optimize the ship without really thinking about what the ship can handle. So in that way, it's kind of, it feels like an AI that's not been thought through properly. Doesn't really have maybe some safeties or some kind of, it feels quite simple to me in the episode, even though it's trying to do well. And I don't know if that's because, you know, it was damaged, but I feel like that AI would be a good lesson as to what not to do in the future. And I think that's the kind of idea they were trying to get across. You know, AI is bad, obviously, back then. Computers were becoming more popular and more advanced. And maybe that's what they were trying to do. But over time, we've had a more wonderful progression to episodes like Measure of a Man, which is completely on the other side. You know, Data is not anything like Nomad. Data is a fully functioning crew member, and I love how that's changed from TOS to TNG. You know, Nomad didn't have malicious intent. He's a bit like, I suppose, Lore in that way. You know, Lore wasn't programmed, or Lore had the emotion chip, which kind of changed how Lore should have behaved. So it all comes down to design, I suppose, and that's what I wanted to see more of, just the backstory.
You should write a fanfic. I like all your ideas. Very cool. Oh, cool. Chris is commenting in the comments as well as here. I feel like the episodes of Session had a lot of red shirt. Yes, there were a lot of red shirt deaths in this episode. Nomad was able to dispatch those poor security guards pretty. And Scotty actually dies finally, which is crazy. Like in the last episode, we were talking about how Scotty.
If I was Scotty,
what's that?
Sorry. If I was Scotty, I would, after I was resurrected, I would dye my shirt immediately.
To a different. I would demand to wear a command or blue even, which would be which is funny. Quiz. Which one episode had more red shirt deaths than this one? Oh, really? I don't know. Let's think here. What episode would have more?
Well, I answered that question. That's why she said correct.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
the episode Obsession.
Oh, gotcha. All right. When does that come up?
It's in this season. It's later on. It's like this gas cloud that Kirk goes obsessed trying to kill because it was a alien creature he encountered on a different ship that he had served on, and they killed a lot of his crew or friends.
Oh yeah,
before he was on the Enterprise.
Was it the Farragut? Did he serve on the Farragut beforehand? Was that the ship? I can't remember what Kirk's previous ship is.
I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, it's that episode. There's a lot of red shirts in that episode that just get killed.
Is that when they're?
I would have thought it was a different episode, but
when they're killed on the dark planet, and it has the plant life is all dead.
I can't remember.
I haven't seen Obsession that many times, honestly. It's a kind of an odd episode that doesn't stand out to me.
If it's this season, we'll get to it. We'll get to it pretty soon. And there was something I wanted to point out here, but we have a question, completely off topic, but I'd like to see the cytoplasmic life forms from Voyager again, maybe in uniform. What were the cytoplasmic life forms again? Trying to remember.
I'm the worst for Voyager. I can't remember anything about the show because I've not watched.
Is that the
much
haunting of Deck 12? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see here.
That's
I do remember that episode. I do remember it now. I don't know if it was the haunting. Here, let's see what episode it's from. It should tell us here on memory. Good old Memory Alpha. Credits. Kudos to you. It's in the episode Nothing Human.
Oh, is that the
what it's called? Yeah, it looks like it's cool looking.
It's a neat looking thing. Season 5 episode.
That was off topic, but it was interesting. Thank you. That's right. It is Nothing Human. Okay, cool. What I was gonna... Go ahead, sure.
Can I ask what you thought of the episode?
Thank you. I was gonna say it in my closing statement after my rating. I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed this episode. I remember loving and being scared of Nomad when I was a kid, and just like robots in general. And also, this is like one of the few times you see a robotic type of thing in Star Trek. I feel like for whatever reasons, like budgetary reasons, and also like maybe a little bit of philosophy, we don't see a lot of robots in Star Trek, and so it was cool to see this robot, even though he turned out to be like an exterminating or sterilizing robot. It was really cool to see like Nomad and like the potential of robots. And I just love the design. It's like not like, it doesn't have like a face. It doesn't have anything like familiar. Like it literally just looks like a probe, and it can do all these things like remotely, and just like it can take over systems and hack and do all these things. I think Jill really said it best, that like Nomad was kind of like the source material for a lot of concepts that like I really am into when it comes to sci-fi and sci-fi stories and stuff like that. So yeah, I really love this episode. Watching it again was a delight and just fun it's like I can see where you guys are coming from, where you're like it's like just not an extraordinary episode, because like it is very contained, like all the action really just happens like on the ship, and it's like a very simple, there's not really a B story or anything like that, it's just like very straightforward. But I really enjoyed it. Again, all the moments like Spock mind melding, Scotty coming back to life, Uhura, even though it's a little weird and cringy, like losing her memory and having to restore it and stuff like that. But and it is a sweet moment with her and Nurse Chapel having that like the re-education part, which is kind of strange. But
I imagine.
yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I imagine that what was going on with the characters with Scotty and Nurse Chapel and Uhura was maybe just to lengthen the episode out and make it a bit more interesting. Maybe they didn't.
100%.
The writers didn't know exactly what they wanted to do with Nomad all the time, and they thought they would add a bit more character stuff just to kind of stretch it out a bit. And I like that because I just really like the character stuff in general, even if it is a bit of a cop out, although it isn't really, in my opinion.
Well, the danger's pretty real too, right? Like Nomad figures out that like the soul system and where Earth is, and is declaring that like human, biologicals need to be sterilized, right? So like if Nomad is able to take over the ship and make it to Earth, then like that's it. Like Earth is pretty screwed. So there's a lot of tension and danger too, and I felt it like watching it again. And so yeah, I love this episode. Actually, I think it's a really excellent episode. I'm gonna go with Jill. I guess we should move into the ratings portion because we're almost in an hour here. But I'm gonna go with Jill on my rating and say it's a 9 out of 10.
And I agree with the rating that Robbie gave earlier. It was a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not an episode that's stand out.
Yeah, it's a strong rating. I'm gonna give it a 9 though. Yep.
I think it's an episode where I'll watch it, but it's definitely better than Landru as a robot. Landru is a disappointment to me. This one is like I like this is better as far as I'll watch this one more frequently because of the character moments. And the fact that it kind of connects a little bit with the motion picture. I think the Ultimate Computer is a better episode as far as how they get rid of the computer and everything. But
very, very cool. We got 7 from Robbie as well, right?
Yeah.
And then in the audience, Jill gave it a 9 out of 10. I hate the Nomad hurts Uhura. Yeah, I hated that too. And Scotty kills Scotty, even though Scotty does get to come back to life. I hated all of that.
I think that was because Scotty kind of charged at Nomad for being to try and maybe protect Uhura.
I guess it's true. I like that though. What do you expect, Nomad? But Nomad has no idea how biologicals work. So there's a little bit of forgiveness there. What's your question?
There's somebody in the chat and they were saying something about the Davidians. I can't even pronounce some of these aliens in here, and the Vorgons.
The Davidians, Krenim, and Vorgons were probably factions in the Temporal Cold War, and one of them sent Nomad back in time and deliberately messed up the circuitry. Interesting. That's an interesting idea. The Davidians, if I'm not mistaken, were in Time's Arrow in the cave. Those were those creatures that were sucking the life force into
I wasn't
their heads.
sure if there was a misspelling of the Vidians, but yeah, from Voyager.
I think that's who the Davidians were. I don't remember the Krenim. I remember the name, but I don't remember where they're from. And the Vorgons are what, Voyager?
I think the Vorgons.
No, the Vorgons are Enterprise, right? Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember that Temporal Cold War.
Vorgons? No, the Vorgons are on the Captain's Holiday, aren't they? With the thing that Captain Picard destroys, and the people from the future.
Wait, repeat what you said, Chris.
I think the Wasn't it the aliens from Captain's Holiday that were trying to get that crystal?
Oh, yes. That's
Risa.
right. Those were the Vorgon, I think. You're right. That's right. That's who they probably were. I don't know. I can't remember. Yes. Confirmed. Vorgons are from TNG from Captain's Holiday. Okay, cool. But yes, Jill's right. Didn't that happen in Discovery Season 2? A probe was sent back in time to attack Tyler and Pike. Yes. The probe that they sent out was sent back through the anomaly, the time anomaly in it, and it suddenly had tentacles. So yeah.
I wasn't too satisfied with the control plot because it didn't go anywhere, and I didn't like it in the first place. But it could have been decent, but I don't get why they put it in unless it was a kind of a homage to TOS style kind of AI stories. It feels kind of misplaced, as if they were going to have a storyline and then they cut it out at the last minute or something. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. I'll have to see if the thing about Discovery that I've noticed, and going back and watching season 1, is the show is so densely packed with information that there's exposition in like a quick throwaway, what would normally be like a throwaway line or something that actually answers a lot of questions. So I feel like you have to watch, like, I've only seen Discovery season 1 like one time, maybe, you know what I mean? So like rewatching it, like I'm like, oh, that makes a little bit more sense and a little bit more sense. So I bet there's somewhere in the dialogue some explanations for all these things, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I would say that like rewatching definitely helps to answer some of these questions. And also like the amazing Star Trek community, like the folks in the chat here who seem to have amazing like knowledge. Collectively we know everything about Star Trek, which is
just
pretty
like
cool.
The Borg.
Exactly. 7.5 out of 10 from S. I'm just gonna call you S. That's a good name. It gets extra points for swapping so many ideas. Kirk versus the computer, the most overused TOS cliche. I love it though. It's only 4 times. They only use it 4 times. I guess that's a lot of usage, I suppose. And then finally, Vorgons and Horgons in the same episode. And then, so I guess the chat's going off into like these cool tangents. But anyways, this was a lovely discussion. And Chris, it was a joy to have you on. I'm glad you were able to pop on the stream for once, instead of just only being in the audience. And also you were in the audience, which was cool. So thanks for doing
I know,
that.
right?
It was really nice. What's new? Anything you got to promote? I know you've been going to a lot of these virtual cons, and I really love that you share what happens in them. I haven't been able to attend them. I just have like a lot going on, but it's cool to see your recaps and stuff. Did Chris freeze? I think Chris froze.
Oh yeah,
no,
the
you froze.
virtual stuff.
Excellent.
The virtual cons have been really cool. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of different autographs, which I've been posting on Instagram. So
Yeah,
there's
very
one
cool.
of Kirk and the Gorn. So if anyone's seen that, it's
Oh, I don't know if I've
STC
seen that one
Eagle
yet.
on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh,
So
on
I've gotten
Instagram.
that from.
I've fallen
Yeah.
behind
So
on
you have to
Instagram. I'll
go
go
that.
catch up today. Yeah.
I actually also have a Voyager cast picture that's been signed by 5 of the cast members now, and a Captain Proton picture. So that's on Instagram right now at STC Eagle. And then I'm on Twitter. I'm pretty active, hearing from all you guys on there, like Earl Grey Trekkie, Trek on the Tube, and all you guys on there. So that's STC Christopher on Twitter. And then I'm Mythbusters on YouTube. So
Most
pretty
excellent.
active there.
Have you made any videos though on YouTube yet? Have you made any?
I have a few videos, but I don't have too many. But I do have some from Star Trek Continues. So
Oh,
there's
cool. I'll go
some
check those
set
out.
tours.
Oh, I think I
That's
have seen those.
I'll probably be adding a couple of more in the future because I did
Very
take a
cool.
couple. So
And
yep.
of course, Robbie, who is Earl Grey Trekkie, who has a YouTube channel as well. Robbie's doing an awesome series. He's 2 episodes in, where he's doing video essays on Enterprise. So you can go check out episode 1 and for the pilot, and then episode 2, which is up now. And they're really great. By the way, your presentation skills are getting really good, and I love the second one. So very, very good work. I really enjoyed that video. And then also after this discussion, we're off to record our next Doctor Who discussion with Robbie. So that's going to premiere tomorrow, I think at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Maybe you could premiere it a little early since I'll be on Trek Central.
Yeah, I'll try.
4, so
what? So you're on Trek Central at
I think it's
5
4
my
p.m.
5
my time.
Or is it 4?
4
Oh yeah, it's 4
p.m.
isn't
The
it?
time changed. Yeah, the time changed again.
So yeah, I'll premiere that early then. And I look forward to seeing you on Trek Central.
Yeah. Yeah, we're 5 hours behind you, Earl Grey Trekkie.
Yeah, Trek Central goes on at 9 p.m. BST, right?
Jill, Text Trek is not just taking a break from the Doctor Who chats, he's even taking a break from his own channel for 3 weeks, I believe. So I'll get back to you.
Yeah. By the way, it's because Father is celebrating he's off next week because he's celebrating his birthday. So he might make a little appearance from whatever celebration he's doing. On the 10th is his birthday. So please remember to wish him a happy birthday on April 10th. By the way, April used to be pronounced April, and I like April much better than April.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah. Do you guys think April? April just sounds better, right?
Yeah. I think I prefer April. I don't know. Maybe April's a bit. April's quite refined. April's interesting.
I've never even heard of April, so that's news to me. Oh, but thinking of Text Trek, I really liked his reviews of season 2 of DS9.
Yes, go check that amazing. Out. Very cool. And then Starfleet Boy After Dark has a new channel where we're doing the After Dark streams. They're really popular. I'm very surprised and happy and pleased. And so the After Dark streams are now located there. And then this channel will solely focus on these types of discussions. But it's an easy transition. I'll try to put some videos linking to the other channels so that you guys can remember. So for any of you After Dark fans, go check out, search on YouTube for Starfleet Boy After Dark. There's a big yellow button as the logo that says Starfleet Boy. So go please check that out. And hello, Brent Barbie. We're heading out. So goodbye, Brent Barbie. It was nice to see you on the stream for just a second.
I love how you just introduced that and said, bye.
It was nice to have you for just a few seconds, Brent. And then Exterminate says, I will stick to the more wholesome daytime Starfleet Boy. LOL. That's totally fine. Whatever's your flavor, we're just happy you're here. All right. So I think we covered everything, gentlemen. If there's nothing else to say, I'll just say live long and prosper, and we'll see you next time.